Hi, listen, throat chakra. This is Cheryl from Sea Spirit Self Healing. Look at that green lights. And I haven't made a video in a day or so, and like as I've said, my guides, my higher self, gave me this job to do, and I'm doing it, and I'm really finding I'm actually enjoying doing it. It's hard, but I'm having to really look at myself, all aspects, all parts of me, the courage to do it, to watch the playback, my physical features. It's been a trip, but I want to say it's working. It's working for me, and that's the only person it needs to work for. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to kind of move these around. My 11-day releases tonight. I might go release it because I saw Scotland's already released theirs. They're a day ahead of us. But anyway, I'm going to do 12 divination tools have I used besides the tarot. Well, I'm going to have to say my pendulum, which is an old blue calcite here that my girlfriend gave me. Yeah. It's been tried and true. I've had it, shall we say, 15 years? Something similar to that. I had another one. I took dowsing in Hamilton, Montana from an absolutely fabulous guy. But I went to one down here at our local witchery, and I bought one. But, you know, I was going to mention signs and omens, but I didn't. I really couldn't come up with a valid example. But here's one. I'm sitting in my chair at where I used to live, and that pendulum was, this part was metal. And then, of course, a chain. And lo and behold, the thing fell. And when it did, it fell on the power strip of the electricity, just the whole chain. And that pendulum I never really felt right anyway, so I put it out in a plant out in the garden. So I have my pendulum, and I find that maybe I hadn't used it so much in a while. I mean, I used to use it for everything, to buy a vehicle, everything. So the pendulum, my pendulum. And then signs and omens, that was the wrong pendulum for me. I'm really trying to be more aware. You know, I'm going out and, you know, like seeing blue herons, to come back to realization and be myself. Or, you know, when you see a dolphin, how can you not take a breath when you see a dolphin? And that's what they are, right? Mana, breath. And I have some lizards around here, and they remind me of dreaming. But I really can't give you an example how I'm applying that to my life at this time. Maybe if I wrote more things down, I would remember, but I don't. The other thing I do is muscle testing. And there's different ways to do it. But oils, vitamins, tarot decks. Hold the deck in your hand. Stand. I'm sitting on the ball, but stand up. Hold the deck in your hand. Take a breath. And ask, is this deck for me? For my highest good and for all that is. And if the deck is for you, you will automatically, your body will come forward. And if this deck is not in sync with you, you will find your body going backwards like that. And I use that. I'm sorry to admit that well, I'm not sorry, I just hate to admit that I forget that. I mean, because you can use that in the grocery store. You can use that in the metaphysical bookstore when you're looking for a deck. You know, and maybe it's just was this deck that the card stock wasn't right for you, or the paint lot wasn't right. I mean, you never know. You might 2 months down the road try it with that same deck again. Well, not the same deck, but a deck of similar, you know, the same deck, but a different place, a different deck. It might be different, so I don't know. I'm 68 years old. I'm doing this for me, for my throat chakra, for my solar plexus, actually for every one of my chakras, for everything within me to reopen my heart after 30 years in nursing and after much of the karma, choices, and such that I've made. I also live by myself, so it gives me someone to talk to. Hello. But anyway, my next one, you're going to see how old I am, because I couldn't think of a movie on for 15, question 15, which is favorite pop culture reader as from a movie. And, you know, I lived years in the woods, and I would rather read a book. I don't have cable television. I am a conspiracy theorist, except I have been since the 60s, except that it's all actually coming true. But, you know, I've held my line. I drink distilled water. There's some places you get me though, you know. I mean, I love to put different colors on my hair, and that's not very healthy for me, but we all have our issues. But anyway, I got too far off. The Bell, the Book, and the Candle, which is, this will really show my age. I'm a half a block from the sea wall. It's got Kim Novak and Jimmy Stewart. And I want to say this movie is almost too old for me, except that I own it. And it's about witches. And it's got just the regular witches that own the store, an art store, another witch that plays the bongos in a band at the club, a witches club they go to, and a guy that thought he had to be cured. So they take him to, you know, the Gothic house with the lady in the big turban and the whole bit. And that's the only one I can really think of, because I haven't watched a lot of new movies. I watched Wonder Woman, but I didn't see any tarot readers in there. I just got 3 new movies that are, but I'm not of the movie. I'm not of the, that brings me to the next one. Celebrities to read for? None. I do not follow the celebrity scene, mostly because I think it dumbs your brain, and because I am a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not sure that we should be devoting so much of our time to idolizing those people instead of idolizing ourselves from the inside out. So, I don't know what that was like. I've got my Mardi Gras t-shirt on. We're starting to come up to Mardi Gras here on our island. And so it is. That was my divination. That was my movie with a card reader. And that was my idea of the pop culture. It's all frequency. It's all love. It's all color. The next 10 days are going to be crazy. I've been having a really, really hard time with this Cancer moon thing. It's usually Scorpios that knock me, but this one's knocking me and twisting me. So, I felt that the best, healthiest thing for me to do was to get on here and make this video. May the goddess bless you. It's all unconditional love. Allow with grace and ease, which I'm having a hell of a hard time doing right now. Many blessings.